Just 5 more minutes. Let me say something to you, sweetheart. Not because I need the time, but because sometimes the heart needs a moment longer than the clock allows. Sit with me here in this quiet space between everything you've been carrying and everything you're afraid to put down. You don't have to perform. You don't have to be strong right now. Just be here. I know the world taught you to keep moving, even when your soul was tired. It taught you to smile through pressure, to call survival normal, to call pain discipline. You learned how to nod, how to say I'm fine, how to swallow words that deserved air. You learned how to keep going when stopping felt dangerous. And maybe no one ever said it out loud, but I will. What you've been doing takes courage, quiet courage, the kind that doesn't get applause. You've been showing up for people who don't know how close you were to falling apart. You've been patient with days that tested your faith in yourself. You've been loyal to promises you made in moments of hope, even when hope felt distant. And I know sometimes you wonder if it's all worth it. Sometimes you wonder if anyone sees the effort behind your calm voice. Listen carefully. You are not behind. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are not failing because things take time. Growth is not loud. Healing doesn't announce itself. Strength often looks like getting up quietly and trying again without telling the whole story. You don't have to rush your becoming. The world will try to push you, label you, measure you, but none of those measurements know your inner weather. None of them understand what it cost you to be here. There are battles you survived that you never explained, nights you carried yourself through when no one checked in, moments you chose kindness when bitterness would have been easier. And even now, even after everything, you still care. That matters. You still try. That matters. You still believe, maybe softly, maybe cautiously, but you believe enough to keep walking. And that tells me something about you. It tells me your story isn't finished. It tells me you're still becoming someone stronger, calmer, wiser than the version who first got hurt. So stay with me for these 5 minutes. Let the noise step back. Let your shoulders drop. You don't need to have it all figured out tonight. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to remember who you are when you're not being judged, rushed, or compared. You are someone who keeps choosing light, even when the road is dim, and that choice, that quiet, stubborn choice to keep going, to keep loving, to keep hoping, even when it scares you, that's where your real power lives. Silent strength is the kind of strength no one claps for. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't raise its voice or demand recognition. It sits quietly inside you while you handle things you never imagined you'd have to handle. It shows up on days when your heart feels heavy, but your responsibilities don't slow down. It's there when you wake up tired of being strong but decide to be responsible anyway. Silent strength is choosing to move forward without making noise about how hard it is. It's the strength of not explaining yourself to people who won't understand. The strength of walking away instead of proving a point. The strength of holding your tongue when words could burn bridges you don't want to rebuild. It's the strength of choosing peace over ego, growth over revenge, patience over reaction. Most people don't see that as strength because it doesn't look dramatic. But drama was never the measure of courage. Silent strength is built in moments of isolation, in the pauses between conversations, in the quiet after disappointment, in the long nights where your thoughts keep you company. It's built when you sit with your emotions instead of escaping them, when you let yourself feel the weight without letting it turn you into someone you don't recognize. That kind of strength changes you slowly, reshaping how you respond to the world. You didn't become this strong by accident. You became this strong because you had no other choice. Because life asked more of you than it asked of others. And you answered without knowing how. You figured things out while carrying doubt. You made decisions while unsure. You kept promises while exhausted. That's not weakness. That's resilience in its purest form. Silent strength is forgiving people who never apologized. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. It's letting go of expectations that kept hurting you. It's accepting that some chapters end without closure. It's understanding that not every loss is a failure, and not every delay is a denial. This strength teaches you how to stand alone without becoming lonely. There were times you wanted to be seen, truly seen, for how hard you were trying. Times you hoped someone would notice the effort behind your calmness. But instead of breaking when that recognition didn't come, you adapted. You learned to validate yourself. You learned to keep going without applause. You learned that your worth doesn't depend on who notices your struggle. Silent strength is also knowing when to soften, when to rest, when to admit you're tired without turning it into shame. It's allowing yourself to slow down without labeling it as failure. It's trusting that progress can be gentle and still be real. This kind of strength isn't about pushing endlessly, it's about enduring wisely. Every scar you carry is evidence of this strength. Not the kind that hardens you, but the kind that deepens you. You didn't lose your heart in the process. You didn't become cruel. You didn't let bitterness define you. You stayed human in a world that often rewards the opposite. That takes a courage most people never develop. And even now, as you listen to these words, that silent strength is listening too. It's the part of you that kept you alive when things felt unbearable. The part that kept choosing hope, even when it felt fragile. The part that knows deep down that you are more than what you've been through, more than what you've lost, more than what you fear. Becoming healing doesn't happen on a schedule, no matter how much the world tries to convince you otherwise. There is no calendar date where pain politely packs its bags and leaves. No deadline where your heart suddenly understands everything and feels light again. Healing moves at the speed of honesty, and honesty is never rushed. Some days you feel fine, almost normal, and other days a single thought can pull you back into places you thought you had already escaped. That doesn't mean you're going backward, it means you're human. You were taught to measure progress in visible results: smiles, productivity, confidence, achievement. But healing works in places no one sees. It works in how you react instead of explode, in how you pause instead of panic, in how you choose silence instead of chaos. It works when you notice a familiar pain and it hurts a little less than before. That reduction, even if small, is movement. There are wounds that don't respond to time alone. They respond to understanding, to patience, to moments of self-compassion you were never taught to give yourself. Healing asks you to sit with discomfort instead of distracting yourself from it. It asks you to acknowledge what happened without letting it define you. That takes strength, not speed. Some days you wake up feeling end, like everyone else has figured something out that you missed, like you should be over it by now, like enough time has passed, and you should be stronger, happier, lighter. But healing doesn't care about should, it cares about truth. And the truth is, some experiences change you deeply. They don't disappear, they integrate. They become part of how you see, how you choose, how you protect your peace. Quiet healing looks like setting boundaries you once felt guilty for needing. It looks like saying no without over-explaining. It looks like choosing rest even when your mind tells you to prove something. It looks like unlearning survival habits that once kept you safe but now keep you tense. This process is slow because it's undoing years of conditioning, not just moments of pain. You don't heal by pretending it didn't hurt. You heal by admitting it did, and choosing not to live inside that moment forever. You heal by allowing yourself to grieve what you lost, even if what you lost was a version of yourself, even if no one else thinks it was that serious. Your experience doesn't need permission to be valid. There will be moments when healing feels invisible, when you wonder if anything is actually changing. But then one day you'll notice you no longer chase what once begged for your attention. You'll notice you don't react the same way to the same triggers. You'll notice you breathe deeper, think clearer, walk away sooner. These shifts don't arrive with announcements. They arrive quietly, like realization after realization stacking gently inside you. Healing also asks you to forgive yourself for staying too long, for trusting too much, for not knowing what you know now. You did the best could with the awareness you had at the time. Growth is not about regret. It's about integration, about turning experience into wisdom instead of wounds. You are not slow. You are thorough. You are not broken. You are processing. And processing takes time because it involves untangling emotions, beliefs, memories, and expectations that were never meant to be carried all at once. You are learning how to feel safe in your own body again. That alone is a journey. Healing doesn't mean you'll never feel pain again. It means pain won't control you the way it once did. It means you learn how to sit with discomfort without losing yourself inside it. It means you start trusting your inner voice more than external noise. And that trust builds slowly, quietly, through repetition and patience. So if today feels heavy, let it be heavy. If today feels calm, let it be calm. Neither defines your destination. Healing is happening even when you can't see it, even when you doubt it, even when it feels like nothing is changing. The fact that you're still here, still trying, still listening, still open enough to reflect, is evidence that the work is already underway.